Alcott has fiercely defended the NDIS and its funding at the Disability Royal Commission hearing in Brisbane today. Calling for change, the Australian of the Year declared the scheme isn't broken, but bloody brilliant.
It's not so we can drive nice cars. It's so people with disability, high-level disability, can have a shower, can get out of aged care facilities.
Actor and disability advocate Chloé Hayden also testified this week, calling for greater representation in the media.
If I can't see myself in media, then am I supposed to exist in real life as well?
And Heartbreak High star Chloé Hayden joins us now. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
How's the reaction to your... Well, it's not really a speech, was it? It was like testimony. How was the reaction been this week?
Yeah, I think it's very overwhelmingly been very positive. A lot of disabled and neurodivergent people, I guess, have definitely been championing for this sort of voice for a very long time. At the same time, I've also discovered a lot of negative feedback from typical people and from non-disabled people. I guess people don't enjoy seeing disabled people actually enjoy and be prideful of the fact that they're disabled.
Oh, how do you cope with that? How do you handle that? Because I'm really sorry that that's happening to you, because it seems like such a joyous moment for everyone to be like, this is great.
People don't enjoy things that are different, and I've come to discover that a lot over 25 years. And I have a very, very supportive network, and also a block button. So,
Right.
Smart.
But because you grew up conscious of difference and saying that you kind of felt like you shouldn't exist, which is an extraordinary thing to feel, what would it mean having more representation to neurodivergent or people with a disability?
it would mean that young people don't have to grow up feeling like they weren't supposed to exist. If I had representation growing up, I would have been able to see myself and therefore been able to go, well, if you exist, then I'm supposed to exist. Whereas I didn't have that. I never saw anyone, whether it be in media and television and fiction and non-fiction, or even just in real life, being prideful and promoting the fact that they were disabled. I never saw any of that representation. So you grow up going, well, if I can't see myself, am I supposed to be here? And young people shouldn't have to go through that. If we had representation, we wouldn't have that issue.
And yet you're here now. So what was that moment? Was it a person? Was it an experience? Was it a theatre group? What was it that led to that moment, that led you to here?
When I got my autism diagnosis, my mum started bawling and I thought that I was dying. I thought I was diagnosed with a fatal illness. And then when I went home and I Googled autism, the only things that I found were these terrifying deficit articles. I saw mums crying over the fact that their kid was autistic and begging for a cure. I saw articles saying a life with autism is barely a life at all. So when you're a 13-year-old girl and you see articles saying you might as well be better off dead, you think that that's the case. So I started a blog, not trying to be anything or do anything, but simply screaming out to the universe and begging to find one more person like me, and I ended up finding millions.
You've got a national platform here, you've got a massive platform yourself, but for everyone who's listening right now, for the media industry, what can they do right now, tangible steps, to make it easier and a more welcoming place?
Invite disabled people into the conversation, and that is in all aspects. I'm incredibly privileged to be one of the first disabled people playing a disabled character in television, but it can't start and finish there. Disabled people have to be in all aspects of every single room. We can't just be in front of the camera. We can't just be a tick in your diversity box. We have to be behind the scenes. We have to be writers. We have to be directors. We have to be producers. We have to be telling our stories, and then having typical people and non-disabled people allowing us to tell our stories. And until that happens, we will never get the representation that we need.
See, this is really awkward because we're out of time and I've got to wrap the interview, but you've just said we have to invite you to speak more. So I don't know what to do now.
See you guys next week.
I guess so. By the way, congratulations on the ACTA Award. We have to acknowledge
Thank you so much.